Hi, Jean. What did you want to talk to us about today?
Hi, Liz. As a member of the church, I accompany people to the ICE office when they're required to report. They like somebody to go with them because it's a pretty scary situation they have to go through. They go into a room where they're not allowed to bring any food, any drink. It's just rows of chairs. There's really no place for any kids to play. Sometimes all the chairs are taken and people are standing. And they never know how long they may be waiting until their name is called. They're told to come on a certain morning. They bring a piece of paper with them from their last report. They turn it in a window. And they could end up waiting there from 9 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon until their name is called. The last time I went to report, I went with a fairly large number of people who were all required to report on the same day. And one little 5-year-old boy is in a family that was not called yet. Even though we went up to the window and we asked a couple of times, could they be next, or could we ask, is everything okay, what's taking so long? They were made to wait until the very end. And at one point he was sitting on my lap and he was looking around the room and he said, "Why are we here? What are we waiting for?" It was hard for me to think of any explanation for him, but in a few minutes he came up with his own explanation. He said, "Oh, this is the place where you have to show your passport." Then he looked around the room, he looked at the writing on the wall. He's not old enough to read yet, but he knows some of his letters. He pointed to what it says on the wall and he said, "What does that say?" I couldn't bring myself to read him the top line, so I read him the second line, which says, "Newark Field Office." And I told him that means we're in the city of Newark. But he's a very bright little boy, and he knows that whatever it says on the first line is more important than whatever it says on the second line. So he pointed to the very first word, and it starts with a big capital E. He said, "But what is that E?" I couldn't bring myself to say enforcement and removal operations. But next to the big E is the seal from the Department of Homeland Security. And he looked at that picture, and he looked at that capital E, and he said, "Eagle, it stands for eagle." And that eagle is reading his passport. That's what the seal of the Department of Homeland Security looks like to a 5-year-old boy who waited from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon in a hot room with nothing to do and no lunch. He waited there all day so that his family could be called and scolded for not bringing tickets and told they need to come back with tickets in just a few more weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean.